caring about is your penis and where it's going, not about any other penises before you. So I guess for me, it doesn't compute. I do not understand why you would be so caught up, so much so that you're willing to ask somebody, how many people have you been with?
I think asking me my body count is the quickest way to talk yourself off some coochie. Because I absolutely am not giving it to you after you ask it. And this weird obsession with having a low number doesn't make sense to me. Be able to please you. So can we stop this whole weird obsession with the low body count? It's not real. It's not sustainable. You don't really want that.
Yo, what up? Marco Brown here, and these are my thoughts. Back at you with an unbiased opinion, back at you with an honest review. Now, looking at this question that circulates around the internet space and social media, and that's the question of a woman's body count. And should it matter? Does it matter? Why should it matter? My thoughts generally is that for men, it tends to matter a lot more than it does to women. But I have noticed that when a woman discloses her body count to other women, some of them do frown if they do have a higher body count than them, because for whatever reason. But I want us to dig deeper a little bit, and I want to suggest something that's often missed out when we're talking about body counts. So if a woman has a high body count, it almost looks like it was easy to access her in the bedroom, right? So therefore, it's something that's easily acquired is sometimes least valued. Something that's hard to acquire and there's a lot of effort involved to gain, then it's seen as more valuable. That's just basic principles, right? But then on the other side, it's seen as, well, a woman with a lot of experience tends to be sometimes favorable in that circumstances than a woman who has a lack of experience. And there's pros and cons for both, but we're not going to focus on that. I think what we need to remember is, in my honest opinion, and I'm not going to focus too much on this because there's something else I want to really focus on. If a woman is engaging in promiscuous activities and a man's goal for dating is strictly encountering women for promiscuous activities, then in my opinion, the body count does not matter. It shouldn't matter, it does not matter. And why should it matter? Because you're not looking to lock down this woman and make her your wife. It's just encounters, it's just casual hookups. I'm not saying it's good, I'm just saying if you're going to engage in that sort of activity, then why do you want the most purest of women to taint? Like, why would you want to do that to a woman? Unless she's openly trying to enter the market that way. I wouldn't want to take a woman who's a virgin strictly just to have her as an extra body on my tally as a man. And there are corrupt men out there that would do that, but I don't think you should piss in the pool that way. But women that are actively involved in that way of living, then that's completely different. Now, what I think we need to really focus on is, it's not always the volume of bodies a woman has. Sometimes it's the depth or the impact of the bodies that she's had. So all things being equal, if a woman has, say, 100 bodies, I'll probably put money on that 98% of those bodies were meaningless, casual, and there was nothing great about any of them, and most of them will probably be full of regrets, as in, why did I let that guy hit, all those sort of things. It wasn't even worth it, I was drunk, or I was this, I was that. There's going to be all sorts of excuses to justify the vast majority of numbers that were acquired. However, what you have to consider is the woman who's had a low body count and she's had deep, impactful and meaningful relationships with these men over long periods of time. We're talking anywhere from 3, 5, even 10 years. Okay, that woman could have been so invested in the sexual activities with that guy she was with, be it in a full-blown relationship, be it she was a former wife, she's divorced, or be it that it could have been she was in a situationship for years and just can't let go of that guy, that one guy that she is connected to. Why? Because most of the times when those situations are happening, it's because the guy, maybe he owns a piece of her, right? They talk about this concept of oxytocin being released when a woman engages in sexual activities to pair bond with a man. If you've got a woman that's deeply invested in a guy, then how do you feel the shoes of how do you fill those shoes? It's extremely difficult to walk out of one relationship, go into another, knowing full well that that guy fully, pretty much owned that woman's body. He knew her body inside out, and she loved that about it. Okay? And they were together for 5 years, 10 years. All she knows is him. But then her body count is 1 or 2. You know, so you walk into the relationship thinking, great, I've got a woman, she's got a body count of 1 or 2, I won. But then no, you lost, because you can't fulfill this woman in the way her previous partner could, or the previous guy could. And the risk with that sometimes is she goes back and cheats. So we're not even considering those things. And not only just that, it's not necessary. It's not just the fact that the guy has such a deep level connection with that woman in that bedroom. You've got to consider what did they encounter in that bedroom too, right? Now, you're not going to know the full details, because why would you? But you've got to consider this is a factor that also can play a part as to whether the woman is able to be compatible and even pair bond with you. If she's experienced some things in that bedroom that you just cannot fulfill, right? You're done for. It won't work. So she might have done things that maybe you yourself don't want to do. Like, I'll give you just one example. A guy could literally munch all day long, right? And a woman might enjoy getting munched all the time. But then all of a sudden she comes into a relationship with you and you don't like doing that. But then that's what she enjoyed for the last 5 to 10 years with the guy that she was with before. Maybe they once in a while enjoy the threesome. And maybe that's not what you want to do. You know, or maybe once in a while, you know, there was some sort of, you know, role play or dominatrix or something that made her relationship very interesting with that one guy. So, but then when she enters a new relationship with you, it blows your mind to think that she could have even have done that. But she only had a body count of 1 or 2. So what are you going to do? So I think we need to look at it very holistically and not always focus on very, I think, immaterial things. Like, I know if a woman with a high body count, it just means that a lot of men access the woman. And the worst thing sometimes is to go into a room or a party or something, and then you see about 10 men have literally smashed your woman or your wife. That's like every man's nightmare. And women just don't understand that. But why would they? Because it's them being criticized. But no man wants to. I would dread if I walked into a room and I knew 5 other men in there had my wife and they treated her like a bag of bones. They treated her like a bag of bones, like you, and you're treating her like a queen. Yeah, and you can call that insecurity all you want. It's reality. It's reality. It wouldn't be no different if a woman walked into a room with a guy that she treats like a king, but all the women that he had been with saw him as a low value beta male. So they don't understand why you value this man so much. Yeah. Or maybe he was a guy who cheated all the time and he was abusive. That's still a man's past, right? But if you walk into a room and you see five other women in there and say, yo, this guy, he abused us, right? But then you're thinking, he doesn't do that to me, he treats me like a queen. You still have to compete with that information going through your head. It's no different with a guy. If he walks into now I'm not saying abuse and sexual body count is in any way, shape or form the same, but I'm just putting into perspective sometimes things which hit the emotions a lot harder. And you know, a guy walks into a room, he realizes that 5 men in that room totally plastered your wife, and then you look at her like she's your queen, but they're looking at her like she was a piece of meat, to the point whereby they end up having no respect for you as a man. Now that becomes a problem. So it does display the level of decision-making capabilities that the woman has gone through over the years of her life. But just a quick one, and I think there's a massive discussion to be had. But yeah, these are my thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe. Marco Brown. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.